The tagline: no callers are identified, no conversations are recorded, no phone records are kept. Now speak clearly, and when you're finished, say, go ahead. Now that's a mouthful for a tagline, but I saw Relay. Relay is the new film by David Mackenzie, director of 2016's Hell or High Water, which is a movie I really enjoyed. Relay stars Riz Ahmed, who absolutely blew me away in Sound of Metal, and I really thought he'd get an Oscar for that role. But, Ahmed plays Ash, an undercover... Actually, I don't know really what he is. He helps people who are whistleblowers at their companies who they've stolen documents are now being harassed by the company they work for and are whistleblowing on them. And Ash helps these individuals when they've decided that they want to give the documents and secrets back and forget the whole whistleblowing thing and go back to their normal lives. Ash is the go-between for the whistleblower and the company, striking a deal that both parties can agree on, and Ash does this all anonymously, contacting both parties through a relay service that helps hearing impaired individuals communicate over the phone. When Ash types a message to the company head or the whistleblower, it's read by another individual working for the relay service, keeping Ash's identity hidden, and when he uses his relay typing device with a burner phone, he's untraceable. And the relay company can't legally share any information with anyone because all conversations aren't saved in any way, shape, or form.
The Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 prohibits relay operators from disclosing the content of any relayed conversation.
Lily James, who starred in 2015's live-action Cinderella and 2017's Baby Driver, plays Sarah, an employee of a biotech company who's stolen sensitive information concerning a product that is making people sick. She's being harassed and followed by the company, with a team led by Dawson, played by Avatar's Sam Worthington. They watch her wherever she goes, and they set her car on fire. And she decides she's done with the whole thing and wants to give the files back. And she wants to forget that the whole thing ever happened. That's when she's led to Ash by her attorney, and Ash accepts to take her on as a client, and the story starts to escalate from there. The film has an interesting concept that I thought was kind of smart, using this relay service to keep your identity safe when doing a sort of blackmail job like this, even though he's, I guess you could say, sort of blackmailing a company who's doing harm to the public and intimidating whoever their whistleblower is. After some research, I actually found out that the Americans with Disabilities Act prevents the relay operators from disclosing any information whatsoever. They're saying the calls are not recorded, there are no records, so it's very untraceable. And it's an old analog technology that they can't really track. It's now being replaced by new stuff, but it still exists. The thing is if all of these people relaying the calls heard the back and forth of these conversations talking about illegal stuff and obvious threatening circumstances, would they really say after every call, thanks for using the Tri-State Relay Service, have a great day, hang up, and not report any suspicious and obvious illegal transactions or abuse and criminal behavior due to the Americans with Disability Act? That's kind of a little hard to believe. And listening to these relay callers relay these crazy, wild messages between the two parties without any emotion or concern, with nothing in their facial expressions, was pretty ridiculous. And again, with the end, the call with thanks for using the TriStar Area Relay Service, after an obvious call about blackmail or, again, illegal activity, was pretty unbelievable. But again, I like the idea, and that's sort of the ongoing theme for this film. I like the idea of everything that they're doing, but it doesn't all add up or make a lot of sense when you put it all together. The whole whistleblower plot is an okay one, I guess, but it kind of takes away from the high stakes of the story when the whistleblower changes their mind about doing the right thing and ultimately needs help getting back to the status quo. Riz Ahmed as Ash was very lukewarm for me. His emotional state, whether he's in control of the situation or completely out of control, doesn't seem to change much. He's very nonchalant about every event and thing that takes place. The only time you actually see him visibly get upset is when Sarah messes up the agreement that Ash has with her, and the biotech company. And even then, it's not the emotional response that I would expect. There's a strange sort of love story between Sarah and Ash that they try to do, even though they've actually never seen each other. And their conversations have always been through someone else, through the relay service. And it feels very forced to bring in a twist that honestly I sort of saw coming anyway. Actually, I was thinking before it happened, man, I wonder if this movie would be better if this thing happened. But then when it happened, I was thinking, wow, that really didn't work. It sort of set up the twist in a smart way, though, bringing in Victor Garber as who you'd think would be the bad guy because, well, he's Victor Garber. But you don't see him at all in the rest of the film, so you know it's not going to be this guy who they probably paid a lot of money to have as an actor for one scene to make it look like this somewhat famous actor has a bigger part than he really does. For as smart as this film seems, it's sort of dumb. The things that Ash does to avoid having his identity found out were really smart, specifically the relay service and how he gets packages through the mail using the last and only airport mail carrier left that's in an actual airport terminal. But then you see a lot of the dumb, like the disguise Ash wears in the airport with obvious fake comical beard was really cringy, or the obvious plot holes that lead you right to the twist before the shocking twist. Like, why is this bio company so obsessed with finding Ash in the beginning? I can understand why after a while how they want to find him, but why so early on in the film and early in the communications with Sarah? But in the third act, you get the answer, which should be obvious to you by now, and it just doesn't really work. There's nothing really that exciting or just fantastic about the film. The sound is fine, the cinematography is fine, the acting is okay for the most part. There's a scene or two that gives you some excitement, but for the most part, the film has close calls that you care about until you don't. I enjoy the film for the most part, but it's not a movie that I'm going to tell my friends about or suggest to coworkers as one of those films to see. It has just this okay vibe about it. I thought it was on the same playing field as this year's The Amateur. If you want just an okay time at the theaters, go and support your local theater, but honestly, this should have probably gone to streaming. I hate saying that. It's not a bad movie, but it's not a good movie and not something you're gonna walk out feeling wowed by. The ending of the film, the final resolve to all this and how Ash gets out of this situation was so lazy to me, and it's so uneventful that it kind of made me sort of mad, honestly. It's such a weak ending. Relay has a really interesting concept that felt really good in the beginning, but loses its believability and logic starting in the second act. The stakes don't feel very high, and when the twist is revealed, you might feel a little offended by how obvious it is. It's sort of obvious in a way where you're thinking, man, that would be really crazy if this happened. But when it does, it's like so obvious that when it happens, you're like, okay, they actually went there. I'm giving Relay 2.5 stars out of 5 because I did enjoy a lot of the film, but it has a lot of flaws and a lot of plot holes, and the resolve of the film, the ending, is the worst. Relay is rated R for some strong language and a few violent scenes. Feels honestly more like a PG-13 rating. I have no clue where they're getting the R from. So Relay opens August 22nd. Have you seen the trailer? I think I saw it once in theaters. Let me know if you're planning on seeing this film when it releases, and I just want to say thank you to all of you who've subscribed to the channel. You are the best thing about this channel. I love talking to you in the comments, so please keep those comments coming. And as always, don't wait till it streams. Let's go to the theater and let's see it together. Maybe this one you can stream, but support your local theaters. Bye.
The person who's called you will type their conversation and I'll read it to you. No calls are recorded and everything you say is confidential.
There's a van parked out front. I think they're watching me.
Thank you for using the Tri-State Relay service. Have a wonderful night.